Hello and welcome back to the Grape Explorer, where today I'm going to go through the A to Z of wine and I'm going to look at this wine here, which is Pinotage. Now, Pinotage is almost exclusively grown in South Africa, and it's actually the crossing of a couple of different grapes. Back in 1925, Abraham Perold, a professor in Stellenbosch, one of South Africa's most renowned wine growing regions, wanted to create a wine that was going to be similar in style to Pinot Noir, but the grapes themselves had to be hardy enough to survive some of the harsher South African weathers. So what he did was he crossed Pinot Noir with Cinsaut and ended up with what we call today Pinotage. Now, interestingly, Pinotage didn't actually end up having some of the qualities of Pinot Noir or Cinsaut, and it's very much its own grape. And even today, most of the production is to be found in South Africa only. For many, Pinotage actually has a bit of a bad reputation, and that's simply because Pinotage was used to create a lot of bulk, inexpensive wines, and therefore the quality wasn't always particularly good. However, happy to say that lots of producers are now working with Pinotage in many different ways to create something that's more marketable to a global audience. So what can we expect from our Pinotages? Well, at the cooler end of the scale, we'll be looking at things like red cherry, and it goes all the way through the red fruit and black fruit families, all the way into the dried fruit families, where in those warmer, hotter climates, you can actually expect to see things like fig and prune as well. And for those Pinotage that have been aged in oak, they can impart some really interesting aromas. You can actually expect things like coffee or chocolate, or in some cases a burnt rubber sensation, which is actually a lot more pleasant than it sounds. So despite Abraham Perold hoping to get something more akin to a Pinot Noir, he's actually ended up with something that has a lot of the similar components to something like a Shiraz from a hot climate. Obviously, Shirazes are sometimes comparable to Pinotages. So I've got a Pinotage for me to go through today. This is from the Paarl region in South Africa, a very popular region in South Africa. This is from their 2018 vintage. So those berries would have been harvested around February, March time in 2018. So we're coming up to nearly 2 years old for this particular one. It has been aged in some seasoned oak barrels, and it's saying it's a medium-bodied Pinotage, boasting perfumes of ripe plum and clove spice, good weight on the palate, and a fresh, lingering finish. So really excited to get to this one. This particular bottle was £9.49, but it was reduced down to £7.99, so very good value for money. And this one actually states on the front here, barrel aged, so I'm going to be curious to see if we're going to get some of those secondary aromas. Right, corkscrew in, so really looking forward to getting this one opened, getting into this one. There we go, nice and easy. So let's go through a full tasting for this one then. Now, out of the bottle, I noticed immediately as I was pouring it that this wine is purple in colour, incredibly inky in colour. I'd actually say that is a deep purple colour. So 2018, still very young of course. But I think this speaks to some of the qualities of this particular grape. Very thick skinned, very hardy. You know, those skins are going to contain a lot of colour. So if they've been extracted particularly harshly during the winemaking process, you're going to end up with something really purple. Okay, so on the nose. On the nose, nicely perfumed. I'll give it a swirl in a minute. On the nose, I'd say that the aromas at this point are about medium. I wouldn't say that they've particularly jumped out of the glass, but let's see what we get on the nose having given it a swirl. On the nose, it's all black fruit. I get a lot of blackberry coming through immediately, a lot of black cherry coming through. And then you start to get some of those warmer, toastier sensations that have come from the barrel aging. There's definitely some secondary aromas on this particular one. I think the things that come through mostly are actually baking spices. I'm getting lots of clove, cinnamon, I'm getting some vanilla on this, and that of course is all imparted from the oak. I can expect as this one ages, it would probably start to move into the dried fruit category of aromas. Not getting a great deal of those at the moment. But it is a really enjoyable nose, definitely on the fruitier side of things for this younger Pinotage. Okay, so taste. tannin. Lots of tannin. Again, it's a young wine. I'm expecting some tannin, but the tannin is actually balanced out with plenty of acidity in here as well, which is really good. And it's incredibly fruity on the palate. And just then I got a hit of the alcohol as well. So, things that are coming through immediately. This is a dry wine. The acidity on this one is medium plus. The tannins are medium plus as well. From a taste perspective, it's all fruit on this one. Lots and lots of blackberry. That's the thing that really stands out for me on this particular one. Lots of blackberry coming through. The alcohol is medium plus as well. It's got full body to it. It's got a nice length to it as well. You know, it's got really great characteristics are coming through across all of the things that we look for when we're tasting a wine. And it's got a lovely finish as well. I'm really getting to enjoy that fruit sensation. And like I say, it is all predominantly fruit at the moment. I don't get a sense of any secondary aromas channeling through into the taste as well. So just to recap there, we're talking about medium plus acidity, medium plus tannin, medium plus alcohol. It's got a medium finish, it's full bodied, got some really great qualities, and clearly this is something that you would be able to lay down for a little while longer to see how it develops as a red wine. So the questions now are, is the wine in balance? Well, it had really nice aroma intensity, and I think that's carried over to the flavour intensity as well. Those fruit characteristics are definitely dominant, they're at the fore, and that's what comes through on the taste. It has a really nice length about it. Still feeling it, 30 seconds a minute on. But the one thing that I'm left with, and this is possibly why I think the length is so good, is I've got one hell of a warming sensation. That is a high alcohol wine. I said medium plus, I might have to rethink that and go to high, because it's really warming me all the way down, which is fantastic because it's particularly windy and cold today. From an intensity perspective, I think the fruit flavours are quite intense. I think the secondary characters, whilst not there quite yet, will bring out some more intensity in this wine as it ages. And from a complexity point of view, right now I'm getting lots of primary and some secondary. I feel over time that's going to give me some tertiary characters as well. So I'd say that there is some complexity here. So overall, I would say this wine is very good. Bear in mind it cost me $7.99. That represents really good value for money here. And I would say that this wine is very good, but I think it has the potential to be even better if you give it another couple of years. But I'm really curious to know about your own experiences with Pinotage. Is it something you've come across, something is available to you in your country? Let me know in the comments section below, and please suggest any other grapes you'd like to see on the A to Z of wine. I'm the Grape Explorer. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Cheers!